reigning, defending middleweight champion of the world, Israel Adesanya. Oh, this video is brought to you by the Officer Tatum Store, the Officer Tatum Store. Also, download the podcast on all podcasting platforms. The B. Tatum Show is everywhere that you listen to podcasts on, every place that it is presented on. Make sure you get my podcast. Y'all know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, Israel Adesanya, one of my favorite fighters in the MMA, UFC fighting championships, or whatever you want to call it. I've been to a couple fights. I saw Israel fight right up close and personal. It was a weak fight because the dude just couldn't fight. I mean, Israel was just dominating him the whole time. It wasn't even close. And this guy right here, I don't think gonna fare too well. Anyway, Israel is 6'4". This guy's like 5'10". And Israel is he can do ground game. He can kick. He can strike. I mean, the dude is well-rounded. I absolutely despise him painting his fingernails and toenails like a little old girl. However, the dude can box. He can fight. I respect that. One of these reporters wanted to get Dana White in a corner and asked him about Joe Rogan and about the N-word. But Israel Adesanya said, let me take this question because I already know where y'all going with it. Listen to what he said. It was epic.
Let me take this one. Hold up. I'm black. I can take this one. Look.
What were
No. There's a lot of cunts in this game. There's a lot of snakes in this game. I've been in this fight game since 2008. And Joe Rogan is one of the nicest, coolest, humble motherfuckers I've had the pleasure of working with. Understand that. And you know, it's just the noise, man. You know what they're trying to do. You can't control the man, and he's got the biggest platform in the world right now. So that's my Joe Rogan. The noise.
Now, I wouldn't have said it like that. I wouldn't have said the N-word. However, Israel Adesanya can do whatever he want to do because I think half of the people in the world probably couldn't beat him up in a fight. So he can say what he wants. But this is, to me, why are you doing this, B. Tatum? Why are you making this video? Because I think it speaks to a bigger issue. You have all of these people who are Americans of African descent, and I don't know if – I mean, I just looking at Israel, you would believe that he is of African descent, obviously, but I think he live in like New Zealand or something like that. So, but you have all of these people who are of African descent, whether American or New Zealand or whatever you want to call it, saying that Joe Rogan is cool. People that have been on this podcast, all of the people who matter the most are coming out in defense of Joe Rogan. I'm defending Joe Rogan. I mean, you go down a list of people who are defending Joe Rogan, not because just the freedom of his speech, but because the dude ain't a racist. And he said a word that people get so butthurt about within context. And so it's good to see UFC fighters, and that's the difference between some of these UFC fighters and these other sports players. UFC, you don't see them kneeling. You see UFC going crazy when Donald Trump walk in the room. It's one of the most patriotic sports that there is. And Dana White does a really good job at making sure it's copacetic. He ain't holding no punches. He don't play no games. Dana White, to me, is the leader like an American should be. Somebody that ain't pulling punches. He don't care what you think about him. They gonna keep it open. Ain't nobody wearing masks. All of this other stuff. Dana White ain't having it. And so that's why I love the sport so much, and that's why it's good for these fighters to come out and tell what's real. It's like people living in a fantasy world. I dealt with this when I was playing college football. It's like people live in a false sense of reality, and sometimes there's individuals who have to bring everybody back into check. Don't be walking around acting like this guy is the best wide receiver in football and he can't catch a cold. Don't everybody buying into this because y'all friends and stuff. No. I'm going to show you what it really is. Same thing is you guys see this in life. You may be on your job, and for some reason, the rumor has it that this person is such a hard worker and they're very smart. And you look at it and you say, this person don't have no sales history compared to 3 or 4 other people in this same room. But they put these people on a pedestal. And it's because one person does it, the rest of them do it, and they all fall off the cliff together because people are not bold enough to say, let me diagnose things for what they are and what the truth is, not me following the Joneses. And I appreciate Israel because he's not following the Joneses. Other people, and he's not American either because the black American is different. Other people would be folding and worried about their career and what are people going to say, and he don't give a about nothing they talking about, as you can see in his words that he said. And he dropped the N-word. Do you think they're going to cancel Israel Adesanya? Not 1 second. You think they're going to be mad? Not 1 second. You think somebody going to say something about him using the N-word in front of everybody? Not 1 second. Nobody cares. Nobody says anything. Nobody going to do nothing in the UFC. Nobody going to do that in the mainstream media. They're not going to even show this because you got a black man saying he my end and he ain't a racist. Okay, here you go. Anyway, UFC 271. I gotta see that. That's this Saturday. Actually, they're doing it during the Super Bowl, which is weird. I mean, not it's tomorrow. So not doing it during the Super Bowl. I'm gonna be in St. Louis, and they're gonna be doing it then. Hopefully, I have an opportunity to watch it. Man, I wish I could watch it in person. I've been to 2 fights in person. The one with Trump, and they had one in Arizona. Shout out to the UFC, man. That was some good stuff. Watching them fight in person is very different than watching these dudes fight on television. Sometimes the fights are sorry though. I mean, when Israel fought the other guy that he fought, that was not a good fight because the guy couldn't fight. Israel was laughing and playing around. The guy just never wanted to strike. So, but I have seen Conor McGregor breaking his leg was a crazy fight. The fight before that was crazy. I didn't see people get choked out. It is crazy to watch these UFC fights in person. I mean, when you watch it, the alpha male energy come up in me, and I'm like, man, I think I want to start fighting. And then I realized that ain't nowhere in the world I want to train like that. Ain't nowhere in the world I want them kilos on my ears and all that. And then I can't get knocked out in front of my family. You know, I just can't risk that possibility unless it's life and death and I'm going for broke and I get knocked out. But fighting and getting knocked out and choked out, you gonna get knocked out and choked out in UFC. Boxing may be different. You got Floyd Mayweather, they never lost a boxing match, but in the UFC, bro, anybody can get it. I've seen Brock Lesnar take a loss. And if you've seen Brock Lesnar, his neck, his traps are up here. His neck is this big. That dude is one of the meanest looking dudes I've ever seen. And he took a L. It was a football player, Hardy. I was watching it. It was this big Samoan dude. They was heavyweights. Hit him, knocked him clean out. He went to sleep. I said, oh my God. That big old dude went to sleep like that, bro. They in here doing something different. I don't want no parts of that unless it's life and death. That's just me. You can do what you want to do. Anyway, comment in the comment section what you think about Israel Adesanya saying what he said, defending Joe Rogan. Comment that, like and subscribe to the channel, and also remember I'm on Rumble. So if you're on Rumble, hit me on Rumble. I love you guys. Appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.